Alright guys, here we go again. We are keep going. Maybe this is a good time to remind you, if you still want to subscribe or whatever, go ahead and do what you gotta do. Alright, otherwise let's keep going. Alright, so let's go ahead and close this main.js, this Firebase.js. But let's keep this at.js because we're gonna come back to visit this, okay? And let's just make sure that we're showing our main site right here, and let's organize the screen a little bit so you can see what's going on. Alright, so we're gonna talk about the router. We're gonna do the router right now. What is a router? Okay, so this is React. Okay, React is not like the other sites where see if I can show you here. How can I show you this? With this one, no, new window. Okay, maybe yeah. All right. Let me show you, which you probably already know this anyway, but open folder and let's see. This one. All right, so this is the website that we will be eventually making, right? This one, the one with MediPlus, right? And that is an HTML site. So notice how the HTML sites used to be before, well, still are. So we have a page here, we have another page here, we have another page, we have another page, we have another page. All of these are different pages, okay? But think about what's going on here. So say this one right here, that the entry one. You have this head right here, that's fine, that's for all the resources or whatever, okay? Close this right here. And then you have this preloader, let's just close that. This get pro button, I don't know, whatever. Okay, header. So here we have the header, right? So we have the header here. So when this page loads, the browser reads all of these files, the header, the slider area, the schedule area, and blah, 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 right? Now what happens when you go into, you click a button to go to another page, like the contact page, this one right here, right? So what the browser does, it basically mounts this file on the DOM, and it reads all of this again. Here's the preloader and whatever this is, and then here's the header again, you know. So as you can see, this right here is already in here, in that index page. Index page has the header, and the contact page also has the header. So think about what is going on when you're here, and here's your header, and then you click on contact us. Now the page has to refresh and reload that header that was already loaded. Okay, so now you have to reload something that you already had to begin with. So this was the concept of creating a single page application framework, is that all of this right here will remain in place, and the only thing that you are, whenever you go to another page, the only thing that you're doing is replacing what is inside here and not everything else that is already on the screen and need to remain on the screen. So the only thing that you get back is the new stuff. So for that to happen, instead of calling from here, calling the index page and then the contact page and then the about page, instead of calling all of these pages, with the React application you have one single page. You already have the header, you already have everything in there. And then if you need to go to the contact page, you don't bring in the entire contact page. You just basically take the inside out and put the inside of the contact page inside that page, because everything else around it is already there, right? So it's still one page. So because it's one page, we don't use navigation through the pages. What we use is routing. All right, so that was boring, and you probably didn't even know what I said. All right, let's go back to this. So in order to test this, we're gonna do a couple of things. We gotta create a couple of routes, a couple of pages, so that we can test it. All right, so let's start with that. So let's start with the routes. Go to the routes and create our first route. So we're gonna create a folder. Now, why didn't I just create a page right away? I like to divide my pages in folders, because what if inside that page, like say about page, What if I need separate elements to it? I'd rather keep all of the about page together in one folder. So I'm gonna call it about. And then I'm gonna go back to the route and create another route. I'm gonna call it home. And I should have two folders here. Inside the about, inside the home, I'm gonna have my first component from JSX. And in the about, I'm gonna have another component. So I'm gonna be another file in there, about JSX. So here are my two very first pages, right? Pages, routes. Let's put some stuff in it. Let's go to the home. And now here's a nifty trick. I don't remember how it is that I got this, but I think I got this. Visual Studio already has it built in. But if you click, what was it? RF, yeah. React Functional, yeah. RFCE, is that right? React, okay, so it's right there. RFCE. If you type RAFCE, you get a React Arrow Functional export component, which is perfect what I want. This, and you know how to type it. That's great. It's already named like your file. It already has React imported. It's already exported, as you can see. All we need to do is just put something in there. Let's say homepage. Whoa, not what I wanted. Home page. And we're gonna save that. Now we're gonna go to the about and we're gonna do the same thing. RAF, this one. There we go. And it already has the about. Alright, here's your home and here's your about page. And we're gonna save that. Alright. Alright, so now we're gonna come over here to the apps. So now that we're in the apps is our entry form, right? So we gotta come over here to begin with and we're gonna get rid of all this crap, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a way for the apps to be able to load in there. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna get rid of this too as well. We don't need this. We don't even need that either. We can delete that file as well. So we don't carry crap around with us. We don't need this counter. And we're gonna turn this into arrowhead, into an arrow function. Arrow function. So, and this is a very easy thing to do, just like that. And it's already an arrow function. Alright, so let's get rid of that for now too. Alright, first thing we're gonna do, so we're gonna import let's import React anyway, because I don't know, I think we might need it eventually. So it's already be there. But let's import our pages. That's what I mainly want to do here. Let's import about right there. Import about from route about. Route about. Yep. And let's import the other one. Import home from route home. Now let's go ahead and use them. Home and about. So now as I save, if you notice, here you go. Home page and about, which is exactly what I have here. Home page and about. Okay. And if I change something in here, about page, here you go, about page. Technically, these are two pages that are already loaded at the same time, because what I said, we don't use pages, we use routes for components. We use components and we make these components act like pages. So how we do this is by separating these two components into their own domain route, so that we can call here mediplus.com/about and end up in about, or mediplus.com, and that will be a home page. So we're gonna do that with the help of the router. So we're gonna get to the router here now in a second, and we're going to, first thing we're gonna do is, let's just do it above here, And let me make sure that I have my handy dandy notes, because I am going to need them. All right, not because I don't know, but because it's a lot faster. All right, so the first thing is, let's go ahead and underneath here, let's import this. So we're importing the router provider, the create browser router, and the create routes from elements. Okay, so we're doing this. Sorry, I lost my place once again. All right, come on now. Where are my notes? There you go. All right, so we're gonna need this imports right here in order to create the routes that we need. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to need is we're gonna bring in our yeah, we're gonna do the provider later. Yeah, we're gonna do that later. All right, so the next thing we're gonna need to do is create a router. So gonna come over here and we're gonna create const routes, and we're gonna use create routes from elements, of course. No, we're not actually. We're gonna create browser. We're gonna create a browser router. There we go. And in the create browser router, we're gonna then create routes from elements. There we go. All right, so first, what do we have? So we have the routes, and then in the routes, we're gonna create a browser router. Inside the create browser router, we're gonna create routes from the elements. And these elements will be basically the routes that we just created. As you start creating more pages, you're gonna have to insert them here. Okay, so right now you have the about and the home, but if we have more pages, we're gonna have to create them in here and create routes for each one of those pages so that they become elements that you can route through in order to get the information that is inside of these elements and use them as pages. Make sense? All right, for right now we'll do that. So since we're using this element, the home, as the home page with no URL after the domain, right? It's gonna end in .com. It's gonna be like, oops. It's gonna be like this. So this is the one we use, and we keep it like this. But because the about is going to need a section in the URL that is gonna say /about, right? Whatever .com/about, then that's what you do. You create the /about to basically let this let the router know when and where to use this element. Okay. All right. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and save this. But then, let's see. The next thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna create a main layout. So if we go to the main layouts now, we go to the layouts. We're gonna create a new file, and in there we're gonna call it main layout.jsx. All right. Now, why am I creating this main layout? If we come over here, we're gonna basically just create the same thing. There, AFC, right there, main layout, and then we're gonna get rid of this because we're gonna add some stuff in there. So in the layout, we're gonna go ahead and just create. Eventually, we're gonna create a nav bar later. So let's just create nav bar. We're gonna call it nav bar, and then just like that. And then we're gonna here create something called footer. Right now, this is just text. These are not components, but they will eventually be components. Right now, I'm just wanting them as text, so that you end up with a nav bar here and a footer here. You notice how everything went away. It's because the router hasn't been specified what to show first yet. Okay, eventually we'll get there. But now what we need to do is we need to import something called outlet from React router dump, and then inside here we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna bring the outlet in, and now we're gonna go ahead and save this, and we're gonna go back to here, and we're gonna import. Let's do it here. What? No, import import main layout. Okay, so now that we are back in, now that we're back over here and we're importing the main layout, what we're going to do is, let's just make sure that I'm following my routes here, my notes. We're gonna come over here to the create routes from elements, and then we're gonna encapsulate both of these inside of that main layout. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a route, and then we're gonna put path, and that's going to be the home path, and the element that is going to be using is going to be the main layout. And then we're gonna bring that here, and then bring these in. All right, so now we have this route that is made for the home page, and the element that is going to use the main layout. So the first thing it's going to do is going to load the main layout, which includes the navbar, whatever I inject here, and then the footer. Then it's going to come through here and it's going to inject inside this outlet whichever one of these two I am choosing to put there, and then it closes it up. Okay, so now that that's done, we can continue moving on. Then we need to do one more thing to this home here. Because this home here is already using the same path, what we're going to do is we're going to take this right here and we're going to name that our index so that it knows that it is the home page, okay, the index page. All right, and then the last thing that we're going to need now is we're going to come over here to this right here and get rid of our about page, and we're going to put, let me see if our router provider is already done yet. A router provider, we're going to encapsulate this into a router provider, or like build it, you know, wrap it with a router provider. And for a router provider, we're going to also give it the router equals router. What we're basically saying here is that we want our router to use this routes. We want our router to use these routes. So basically all of this will be injected in here, okay? And then here's a home page, and if you want to wrap this up with a div so you can have some more control of what's going on in the page and each page or whatever, that's fine, but this is basically all that you're really gonna need. And then when I hit enter, all right, so we're gonna come over here now. Let's save this. There you go. Refresh it, and now you can see that the navbar, the home page, and the footer. If you remember, you have the navbar, whatever gets injected, in this case the home page, and the footer. And here it is. And now if I go to about, notice how the navbar and the footer is there, but now I have injected the about page in here. So now this will be the content for the different page, but the navbar and the footer, because it's the same one no matter what page you go to, it prevailed. Okay, so this basically is showing how the route will change. There you go, how the routes will change without having to reload a page every time, but just reloading the content inside it, leaving the navbar, leaving the footer, leaving everything else intact, because you haven't really messed around with it. Okay, so this was without any styling, any components, just basically routes. Okay, in the next videos we're gonna actually create this navbar into an actual navbar, this footer eventually into a normal footer, and then we're gonna start building the home page, so this actually can start taking shape. All right, we'll do that next time.